Hey guys, how is everyone doing today? Make sure everybody, let me see if I want to make sure my sound is good. Shout out to everyone on the chat. Let me make sure that everything's in working condition because I feel like sometimes our sound goes in and out. And I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Drop a rabbit on the chat if you can hear me. Everybody doing good this morning, this afternoon. Oh, let's see. We got our members in the house. We have Barbie, Stacy Medina, Aisha, and Do the Right Thing. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, yes. Sounds like everything's good on our end. Uh crazy. Aisha's in the house as well. This is gonna be a very kind of to the point live, okay? Very quick. I'm gonna try to stay focused as much as I can because there's just some other stuff going on in the background that I'm like, let me just stay focused as much as I can. Kelly all day, welcome to our channel. We got some new people here that I've never seen before. Hopefully you guys will stick around and stay subscribed. Star Pepper's in the house. We've seen Star Pepper before. Okay. Um, let us talk about this whole tweet that came out from Sarah Hartshorne, who is from season 9 of, or excuse me, cycle 9 of the what is it? America's Next Top Model. Okay, Aisha. Um, so she's from season 9, cycle 9. Okay, and she recently came out and did a tweet where she was alleging that $40 a day, no residual, we had to pay for food. And you guys know that this Tyra Banks in the last couple of years has been um I guess we're seeing her in a different light. I don't know if I can speak for everyone, but it seems like we're villainizing her a lot, right? I don't know if I agree with everything. Do I believe that Tyra Banks is the most ethical person in the world? No, I don't. Um, I'm just I'm also putting this out there, right? That she was the and is the executive producer of America's Next Top Model. So her movements in this show and the foundation of the show and are huge. And the thing about America's Next Top Model is it's just this pop culture iconic show, guys, that I believe I watched maybe the first 9 cycles and then I stopped watching after that because it was just a little too much for me. I couldn't keep up. One of my favorites girls, I believe, was Eve. And I'll never forget, she did that little picture with the spider and she was really, really scared. And that's because I'm terrified of spiders. So I just remember her, just she was like my favorite. There was another lady, I forgot her name, but she was battling with lupus and she had shared her experience. And so there was really, really good talent in America's Next Top Model. So Sarah comes out. She did an interview, I believe, about a week ago with Oliver Twixt, and he's also a YouTuber. Um, and she made some allegations, okay? Uh, some really interesting allegations, I think. But I pulled the transcript out of those allegations because I wanted to review it. And one thing that Sarah said that I was like, there's got to be more to this. She says she doesn't remember what the requirements were. Like, was she told front, whether, like what she was going to be dealing with when it came to the show? She doesn't remember. Granted, when Sarah was there, I believe it was between 2006 and 2007. So it's been a couple years. I'll give her that. Okay. But for me, I want to make sure that we see two perspectives. Okay. At the end of the day, was this a contest? Maybe. Right. Did they deserve to get paid? I don't know because I don't know what that contract looks like. And it sounds like they did multiple contracts. It wasn't just one. So let's watch Toccara Jones, who comes in and says, listen, this was a contest. It's a different perspective. You guys let me know what you guys think about her. I did play this during the week because I wanted people to give some perspective. We're going to watch it again. It's like short, about a minute or so.
Of course you cannot cancel Tyra. No, there's no canceling Tyra. You said it perfectly. Right. Like, this is the modeling world. She didn't create this. She just showed y'all. And y'all are She just became the face of it, which is great. And you know what? You're going to get some good and you're going to get some bad. And it comes with the territory. That's back to the Tuscan. I love Tyra. She is still thriving. She is still doing good. And she's going to continue to be doing good. And people are still talking about the franchise. And here we are still speaking about it. So, yo, ain't nothing going to stop it. First of all, we didn't get paid anything. It's a contest. So there's no payment. When do people pay to be in a contest or get paid to be in a contest? The whole purpose of a contest is to win a prize. You know what I'm saying? It's for the exposure. That $40 was per diem. That was just a per diem. So you actually didn't get paid. Technically, no one got paid, because then if someone got paid, there could be legal issues about, you know, a winner or who got paid how much. And, you know, like it could have been a whole big drama of people getting paid to be on a contest. It's a contest. So that's not true. And yes, we didn't, no, we don't get residuals or anything like that. But we did sign a contract and they did feed us, but we were able to buy our own little personal items if we needed to. So that's what that was about. And because of Top Model, every job that I've received after that on television, I collect residuals.
All right. So because of Top Model, every job I've received after that, I get residuals. Okay, makes sense. Well, guess what we found, guys? I have the transcript from that interview, and I want us to hear, and I'm going to read it to you, how she answered this question. This is Sarah, okay? She's the one that alleged the $40 per diem. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe I'm going about this the wrong way and please correct me. You guys know I'm not above it. But that interview is available, okay? And you guys can go watch it. I got to make sure I link it to the description box, okay? He is a YouTuber, Oliver is, and you know, he does great YouTuber. He's interviewed a lot of American Next Top Model contestants, ex-contestants. He's done a lot on YouTube. So I love his blog. You guys got to check him out. Pretty cool guy. But one of the questions he asked, okay, and this is to Sarah, the one that alleged the $40 per diem, says, how do you feel, or do you feel any anger towards Tyra? Do you feel like she owes you or the rest of the Top Model girls anything? And her response was, that's hard question, okay, for a couple of reasons. Sometimes this sounds sanctimonious, and I want to be clear that it's not. And it comes from a place in me that might be stunted. I'm never angry at the right person. And also, one thing is, like, I know that she was the executive producer. I know she was very involved, and I know she was very hands on with that show. But I don't know who made the decisions. I don't know who, right? I don't know who's involved. She was in our daily schedule. So, how involved she was in our daily schedule, okay? I don't know if she's the one who decides not to pay us. She goes, I assume, but I don't know. And so I don't want to base anything off of assumptions. But I'm very much tend to see a person in charge who's making flawed decisions and not feel anger. And I'm not angry at her, but I may be, should be, and I think it's okay that other girls are. I do think that I don't think that she was, I don't think she was more selfish than malicious. Okay. So she's like, I can't get a straight answer from her when he asked that question. I'm like, does she owe you anything, Sarah? That's really what I want to know. And I feel like she's dancing around this question. Pretty simple, straightforward. Does she owe you anything? Okay. So then it keeps going. Um, she was more unthinking than cruel. So you got to think about, if you guys think about the like for me, the one that took the cake was Eva, because I'm deadly afraid of spiders. I would not want a spider near my face, okay, not let alone a tarantula. I remember watching that season, that specific episode, the day it aired, and feeling some type of way about it and thinking, I'm gonna need some therapy if I was Eva. Like I really would need therapy after that. Because she had to, if you guys remember the picture, she had to pose with the tarantula right next to her face, and you could see how terrified she was. I don't know if they ask what their fears or whatever. And actually, we do have an application. I was able to find one. I'm going to post that application on my members only so you guys can see some of the questions that they ask if you were willing to become a contestant. Some of the stuff that they ask, I would think that they would pull from that to make a show. They would have to. It's a reality show. And back then, around this time frame when she was there, see, she was cycle 9, which is between 2006, 2007, 2008. That was like the reality TV show prime, right? We were testing things. You had your reality TV show, dating, you had American Idol, okay? So just a couple things to keep in mind as far as like the time frame, okay? So she says here, I'm not angry, but it's okay for the other girls to be, okay? I do think we should have been paid. I think we should have gotten residuals. Millions and millions of dollars were made off of that show. My Cycle was the highest rated cycle. Um, and when I say we weren't paid, like we weren't paid, we got $40 a day while we were shooting. When on the days that we weren't shooting, we didn't get food. And so after the show, we were put in hotels. We weren't allowed to leave. We could not get room service, and we had to pay for that ourselves. I was there for 2 weeks. I had to pay. I had to buy my own food without being able to leave the hotel. So really, I had the option of a fancy room service. The only thing we could get for free was cookies. Cookies. So for some reason we could get free cookies. And then this is when Oliver asked, let me ask you this. I don't think I've ever about asked my addiction to hear my addiction professor screaming at me. I don't think I've ever questioned anybody about this in terms of your per diem and your stay. My addiction. And again, this is a transcript, so it's likely not the right question that he's asking. But what he's asking here, and this is what I can make of it, in terms of your per diem per day, your food, were all those details presented to you guys before you signed and came to the show? And she says, Lord, I've been trying to remember that because that is the biggest response that people have had. It's like you sign a contract. You knew what you were getting into. And maybe I did. That is in the contract. But I did not know. So the hotel thing definitely was not in the contract. That was there. We did not know that we would have to, like, that was a surprise to everyone. And there were days, no, there were no days in the house where there was no shooting. So I think we got a per diem for every day that we were in the house. Are you, and you were in the house how many days? Who? 6 weeks. I think, okay, a little less. I think a little less than 6 weeks because it was a little bit faster, like a week. It was like an episode every like 4 to 5 days. Just a bit faster. Okay, so in her answer, did not pay for the hotel, but we had to pay for all the food. Always assume that they did that to confuse the people who knew they were there. Okay, so guess what I found? And I want to tell you guys what I found that totally doesn't coincide with what she's saying. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys the rules that we were able to pull. Now, some of these rules are coming from, I had to make sure that we looked at, so her cycle was 9, right? There were some documents that were leaked about the eligibility, right? Mind you, this was a show that was casting year round, okay? So it wasn't like a one-time casting audition thing. This was a year-round thing. America's Next Top Model was casting year-round, and they were taking, kind of like a floating application process that they had, okay? So I wanted to pull up, and let me see, where did I pull them up? Here it is. I was able to find cycle 8 eligibility rules. Okay, so I want us to pretend for a minute that we're all America's Next Top Model. And this is important because it's relevant to the year. I also found cycle 22 eligibility rules, which I kind of compared them and I was like, well, has there been a change between cycle 8 and cycle 22, right? So I did some notes on this, especially on cycle 8. And this is the paperwork. We were able to pull it from what used to be, somebody pulled it from that, what is it, the CWS or whatever, Warner Brothers, one of their websites, okay, and they kept it. This is what it would look like if you wanted to see if you were eligible for this contest. And we're going to call it a contest because that is the language that this eligibility requirement, shares. That is the language. It doesn't change. So one thing that stood out to me, and I was able to highlight some notes, and I'll highlight it here for you guys, okay? We have here that, and this is cycle 8, so I don't know if there was a change between 8 and 9, but if for Sarah's specific cycle, she was 9. So for 8, they say here on number 2 that there are regional casting calls during the months of August and September of 2006. Let me see if I can use my highlighter. See if we can highlight this, okay? At various networks, TV affiliates, let's see. Television stations, locations to be determined, okay? There will be a nationwide open casting call during the months of August and September, where the casting director of the America's Next Top Model will be present to do interviews at locations listed in paragraph 23 below. But here in these parentheses, it says locations subject to further additions and changes. If the producers of the series elect to have a semi-final round and you are selected for an interview in the semi-final rounds, you must be willing to travel at your own expense. You must be willing to travel at your own expense if there's changes to be determined in your region of the country. Producers reserve the right to add, cancel, substitute other cities as interview locations or semifinals. If you are selected by the producers for the interview during the final selection process, all right, that's us guys, we must be willing to travel to Los Angeles for approximately 1 week sometime around October 2006. As scheduled by the producers as part of the final selection process. The exact date of such interviews may be changed at any time by producers and their sole discretion. Now, this is the important paragraph right here, is where I'm going to highlight right here. Economy travel, round trip to Los Angeles from a major airport nearest your home in the United States. And hotel accommodations, okay? Room and tax only, excluding all incidentals or other charges, will be arranged and paid by the producers. Okay, so they are going to pay the economy travel. The producers are, if you're selected. If we're all going to be America's Next Top Model, guys, that's it. We're quitting our day jobs and we're going to do this, okay? To enter this contest. And let's see. They're going to it'll be arranged by the producers, okay? You will receive a per diem allowance in an amount to be determined by the producers. So the producers determine how much they're going to pay you. This is 2006, cycle 8. Sarah was cycle 9. What did the per diem look like back in 2006? God knows. We would have to do some research in that, right? What was the per diem? But see, here's the deal: is a per diem in a contest, it's almost like if I work and I get a per diem, that's expected. I'm expected to get a per diem. But if it's a contest, am I expected to get a per diem? Probably not. That's where it gets a little confusing. Now, one thing Sarah says in the interview with Oliver, she says that at the time when they had the the American Idol, that the American Idol contestants, and I don't know if there's any truth to this or not, but they were getting $1,000 a day plus the funding for their wardrobe. Okay. And that's a contest as well, right? That's another contest. So I don't know exactly to the T or what, if there's any truth to that. But a per diem, I mean, unless you're contracted to do work or you're employed, then you would be expected to get a per diem. But if this is a contest, then probably not. The most you'll get from these people, it looks like, is they'll pay your arrangements. They'll pay your travel. You're able to travel, they'll pay all that. Okay? But, and it's going to be economy, you're not flying first class, guys. No one here is flying first class. But that's it. It's not an employ, like, you're not employed. So yeah, you would have to be in a situation where you don't have any responsibilities between the ages of 18 and 26, which I believe were the eligibility age gaps in 2006. Okay? So it's an interesting way to kind of look at it. You will also receive a per diem allowance. They determine the per diem allowance, guys. Not nobody else, but they do. Okay, the producers. Your schedule while in Los Angeles will be entirely at the producer's sole discretion. All dates and locations listed in these eligibility requirements and in the application forms are subject to change by the producer's discretion. Ooh. And it also without notice. So I mean they can change this shit up. They say we're going here, we're going there. Whatever it is, they go, they are the producers, they do the rules. That's how it is. Okay. So if you are selected, okay, as a participant, you must be willing to live in a house or a loft located at the location and in a city as determined by the producers. The house. Approximately 2 months, sometime between October and December of 2006, with 9 to 14 other female strangers. Okay. Where you will have little to no privacy. Economy travel to and from the production location and a major airport nearest your home in the United States will be arranged and paid by the producers for participants to travel to the house. Okay, there you go. Then we go to number 4. If you're chosen to participate, it is your responsibility to make any necessary arrangements with your employer and your family in anticipation of your extended absence from home. Finalists must hold a current passport. International travel must be required of all participants. Yeah. Yeah. So and again, number 5, guys. You're going to live in a house where it's outfitted with video and audio recording devices, which will record, broadcast, and exhibit your actions and voice all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in every room of the house, as well as any other location settings outside of the house for the duration of your participation in the series. They're watching you, guys. They're watching you. Everything. That's what the reality show was, okay? Back then. They're going to be watching you. It's heavily audio and video. You will be observed at all times by producers as well as the general public watching the television and possibly the internet. So, back in 2006, yeah, back in 2006. So, the winner of the series will be eligible to receive the grand prize that will include a modeling contract. Now, I think this is interesting. This number 6 right here. The winner of the series will be eligible to receive the grand prize that will include a modeling contract. So, you have to be eligible to win, right? So you're selected, okay? I guess that's part of the eligibility. You pass all these tests. You're good with everybody. That's part of the eligibility, right? Like it's a lot. But here I'm just thinking in my mind, well, what else? Like the modeling contract is one thing, right? What else would we have to do to be eligible to make sure that we get that modeling contract? That's what this eligibility form is not really telling me. I almost feel like there's probably another eligibility form that goes with number 6 when I read this. So, age gap 18 to 27. There was a height gap in 2006 for this contest, which is you have to at least be 5 feet and 7 inches. Okay. You must be a United States citizen and live in the United States. Okay. You must not have previous experience as a model in a national campaign within the last 5 years. So they weren't really looking for people to have experience. They weren't really looking for like models. Matter of fact, there is some narrative in here about holding public office. They didn't want that. You have to be in excellent physical and mental health conditions. Um, you must understand and agree that you would be required to pose and be photographed on videotape while clothed, partially clothed, or naked. Yeah, that was part of the. I remember this part. There's a lot of. I remember there was this one contestant who was like a churchgoer, and she really struggled with that piece, that naked piece. Which I'm on my mind. I'm like, I don't understand why, because it is modeling. I guess it's expected. I'm not really sure. Okay, so I want to ask the chat, guys. I want to know your opinions. Is this something that you guys think you would be able to do? And think back to what Sarah was saying. She's saying that they weren't paid. But the language in this eligibility form is a contest. It's a contest. Okay? So, did she deserve to get paid? I need to know what your guys' thoughts are. Do the right thing and say it's too much. It is too much. But this is back in 2006. Now, I was in my 20s around that time, okay? So, I guess, when you don't have no responsibilities and no bills and nothing, I mean, I'm down. It's like anything. There's too, this is nothing less than exploitation. You think so? But I want to know, why are we calling it exploitation now? Why didn't we call it exploitation back in the day when it was happening? That's what I want to know. Yeah, probably because the people that have experience know the contract is one-sided, right? I mean, Tyra was a producer, is a producer, executive producer, okay? So she had a lot of camera time. I mean, this is her show. This is really kind of what, after she retired from modeling, and she did some modeling even then, I believe, um, she kind of ventured off into this thing, and this became like this pop culture thing for a lot of us. I know I watched several seasons of this. So let's see what else is interesting here. It says that if you are selected to be interviewed, you will be given and must complete and return prior to the date of your personal interview in Los Angeles a medical history form. Okay. There's also if you're selected as a finalist, completed participation package will be, what is it, furbished, furbished to you by the producers, and will include among other things, release forms, waivers for your immediate family. So this is the part where Sarah does talk a little bit about this, that basically if you die during the shooting, you can't sue them. Da 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 da. NDAs, like they couldn't disclose it. They could not disclose any information. There was a lot of they really, really, really protected the show, especially with those people that had been eliminated, I guess. Um, and so then by participation in the show, you authorize the producers to conduct civil, criminal, financial, driver history, and any type of background checks deemed necessary by the producers. Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty intense. They didn't want employees, and if you guys remember back in the day when the show started, I think it was like Warner Brothers or UPN 20. I mean, they had a lot of people that were involved in that show aspect. Um, yeah, so if you were related, or anything like that to any of the producers or production companies, you would immediately not qualify or be eligible. Okay, so just thought it was interesting to kind of look back in 2006 with some of this information. The producers are looking for a dynamic group of individuals who are articulate, interesting, and exhibit enthusiasm for the series, as well as a willingness to share their most private thoughts in an open forum of strangers. Yeah, like that doesn't call for some mental health stuff to happen. This group of individuals, while meeting the technical requirements of a series, must have sufficient physical, psychological, and mental capacities to endure approximately 2 months in a monitored house under extraordinary conditions. It's in the eligibility form there, guys. So tell me, like, was Sarah duped? Because the way she answered that question, she doesn't remember if she signed it. Well, she was told about the per diem. It doesn't say anywhere that she had to be paid or residuals would happen. So if we're solely looking at that, then I would say, you know what, Sarah, I think you kind of knew what you were signing up to. However, if we're looking at it on the other side, like, you know what, Sarah, you deserve residuals. You went through a lot for 2 months. It must have been traumatic. Then I can see where we, might need to weigh in that. But it's in writing. Okay. Back in the day, you would turn in a VHS. Look at that. I mean, it's a little crazy. This is the eligibility. Look, you got UPN 20 here, which that doesn't even exist anymore. They'll keep your material that you turn in. Okay. You got more waivers. They want 3 photographs of you. Okay. There's the address. Anybody's interested. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty intense. Um, in addition, the participants will be evaluated on a regular basis by their elite panels of judges led by Tyra Banks. These judges, which will include high-profile fashion industry gurus, will narrow the field week to week until one lucky winner will be chosen. A winner to will become America's Next Top Model. Ta-da! So this was 4 pages. This was maybe about 27 lines, okay? This was back in cycle 8, okay? 2006. This is obviously, has definitely changed. Sarah's was 2000, or her cycle was 9. So this is like maybe around that time frame. Maybe she signed this form, maybe she signed the one for the 9, or at least this is what she was eligible for. There was a height requirement, right, on number 8, if you guys remember that. I'm going to show you guys what cycle 22 looks like, and I believe cycle 22 takes us to 2015. So now we're looking at a different cycle. And actually, to let you guys know, there's not a lot that has changed other than the height requirements. Okay, we can kind of glance through this. Look at this. The time frame is there. Let's see. I don't like blue as a highlighter. I like yellow, but hey, it's not letting me do yellow. This is the time frame. Okay, so clearly maybe about 10 years or so after that. Yeah, you think so? I thought I haven't looked at a RuPaul one yet. I would be curious to know what that looks like, right? But I don't know. I would see that being like, I could see RuPaul paying a lot of his people too. I don't know. I like RuPaul. Shout out to him. I like him a lot. They knew these ladies were young, wouldn't consult with the lawyer, so they would take advantage of them. Very sick situation in industry. I mean, I would think so, but I think the other thing to this too is that what was gained. If you go back to Toccara Jones' statement, she says very verbatim, like, it's the exposure. You got an inside look into the modeling industry. Okay. Here we are 10 years later. Okay. And this is now season 22. And they would the process of selecting is still the same. They're accepting, applications year round. It looks like now this time we're not doing VHS. We're doing a USB flash drive. Clearly, we've changed in technology. There's an actual website. This website for Facebook, it's a group. It's still up and running if you guys want to look at that. Kind of gives you guys a good idea of how they do casting calls. Now, I want us to pay attention to, remember paragraph 2 on season 8. Okay? That hasn't changed. Okay? It has not changed from here. Let's see if I can pull this right here. All right? If you are selected by the producers for an interview during the final selection process, you must be willing to travel to Los Angeles, okay, for about a week between March 10th to the 27th of 2015, as scheduled by the producers as part of the final selection. The exact date of such interviews may be changed at any time by the producer's sole discretion. Now, where I want us to pay attention to is this economy travel. Economy travel, round trip to Los Angeles from a major airport nearest your home in the United States, and hotel accommodations, room and tax only, excluding all incidentals or charges, will be arranged and paid for by the producers. That is still there, same language. Nothing has changed from cycle 8 circa 10 years, 10 years ago, right? It's still, the verbiage is still the same. Nothing has changed. They're still going to pay. Your schedule while in Los Angeles will be entirely up to the producer's sole discretion. All date and locations listed in these eligibility requirements and in the application form are subject to change by the producer's sole discretion without notice. One thing that's missing from this cycle 22, guys, where's the per diem? Because now paragraph 2 doesn't have a per diem. I don't see a per diem being listed there. Now, it could be later on. Let me see if we see it again. Here it is. Let's see. These dates are subject to change by producer without notice. Economy travel to and from the production location in major airports nearest your home in the United States will be arranged and paid by the producers for participants to travel in the house. If you are selected, you're responsible to make any necessary arrangements with your employer, family circumstances, da 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 da. Okay. I'm just trying to see if we see the per diem again language, because I don't see it in cycle 22. Let's see. The winner of the series will be eligible to receive the grand prize that would include a modeling contract. But see, now they added this little sentence here that says producers have the sole discretion to adjust prices without notice. Go through all this bullshit with 15, 14 other females, okay, only to have another sentence added there that says we could change the price if we want to. Okay. You must be 18 to 27 years of age at the time of the application. They took out the height requirement here. Have removed the height requirements for all models in the cycle. However, producers reserve the right at any time, including returning a height requirement. Participants may be a female, all male, or mixed sexes in producer's sole discretion. Okay, let me tell you guys something about number 8. When I was looking at this, you know what bothers me about number 8? If you go to number 4, let's go to number 4. Is it number 4? No. It's number 6. Sorry about that. The winner of the series will be eligible to receive the grand prize that will include a modeling contract, okay? If you look at the big modeling agencies, how do I not know whether or do they hold a height requirement for those international models? Think of your big modeling, I don't know, agencies. Okay. Is there a height requirement? So they've taken the height requirement from the contest. But what if I'm not eligible for a contract with the modeling contract because I'm too short? And so what it says here kind of really throws me off. I think it's almost like they did that sentence on purpose on number 6. Producers have the sole discretion to adjust prices without notice. Well, if the price is a modeling contract and I just happen to be under the height requirement, and then number 8 says that they remove the height requirement and they have the right to do so, but the modeling contract is my big prize. What if the modeling contract, which is an independent agency, says, you know what, shorty, you can't make it. You won't be able to model. You're shit out of luck now. That's the piece that I was sitting there. I said, wait a minute, cycle 22. So you've added this thing. Did it ever occur that maybe someone who is not on the height requirement, even if they won the contest, they wouldn't be able to be part of a modeling contract because that agency that does the modeling might actually require a height? Yeah. So I'm looking. I mean, do the right thing. That was the piece that I was like, this doesn't make sense. And I wonder if they did that on purpose. That would stump a lot of people. Like a lot of people would not be able to win the big modeling contract. Isn't that why everybody does it? Pretty much. That's what it seems like to me. When by cycle 22, this seemed a little bit of a tricky language in question. But if I was reading this, now I can't tell you that if I'm 22, 23 and I'm participating in this shit back in 2015, that I'd be able to pick up on that. No, No, I wouldn't be able to question it. There's a chance that I wouldn't be able to do or win a modeling contract because I might be too short. In that modeling agency, if you think of the big ones, what's the Ford agency, the big ones that, everybody goes and gets noticed at, that does the runways. I might be too short for them. It doesn't make sense. And what if, here's another question. What if there's a concern for mixed sexes with these modeling contracts? What if they don't want, people of mixed sexes, or they only want a certain sex, certain color? Maybe they discriminate. I don't know. Things to kind of keep in mind, but this was the eligibility requirement back in the day. And what we're missing, and I still have not picked up, where is the per diem? Did they take the per diem off? Yeah, right. In Europe, I wouldn't be able to model in Europe. But what if, like, say, Ford or whatever other modeling agencies out there, they only have jobs booked for Europe type of photography or modeling. I'm just thinking of the bigger, things, the people that actually make money, the bigger contracts where you make actual money. You wouldn't be able to. I mean, they would mean nothing. You winning would just be the exposure of you having that. Doesn't mean you're going to get a good modeling contract. God knows, right? You might be everybody's favorite, but we just don't know if you would actually win a contract. Yeah. So just something to think about. By cycle 22, I'm still not seeing that there's a per diem. That doesn't say anything about a per diem. I'm going up again. Let me just see and make sure I didn't miss it. But I'm pretty sure I didn't see anything about a per diem anymore. I believe they took that shit out. So to me, I don't know. Were they deserving? Did they deserve to get paid? Absolutely. I think so. I mean, this sounds like a very stressful situation. However, is it a contest? Is a contest. Is there residuals? Well, if they were promised to be paid, um after the airing of the show, that would have been great. Like if their face was still up there and they were still showing the show, that would be great for them to have gotten paid something, some type of a residual. But they weren't. It doesn't even say it on the eligibility requirements, right? Oh, thank you so much, Bring the Mess. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. We'll make sure we do some rabbit twerking for you before the end of the live today. So I'm looking. Let's see what else we find here. Nothing, nothing else I'm seeing that would allow us to kind of determine there was a stipend, a per diem, or anything. If anything that they did to this document now in the eligibility, I mean, they just required a little bit more as far as like now you know that you're going to be signing some waivers, okay? And that where you send your information. Let's see. Um, I mean, it's still intense. Nothing. There's 28 lines, not 27. Okay, so that's interesting. And it gives the producers, I will say in this language now, more rights to kind of make more decisions. And it was the CWTV.com show at that time in 2015. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait. Let's see. Um, the coveted prize have the dream lifetime come true. Over a period of several weeks, the lucky participants will go through intensive training in the modeling field. They will be trained by some of the top model experts in the world. Experts who will teach them about fashion, runway skills, physical fitness, and publicity. During the time, the participants will live under one roof in a house or a loft that is equipped with cameras, microphones to record their every move 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? They'll be evaluated on a regular basis by a group of elite judges, okay, led by Tyra. These judges will, which will include high-profile fashion industry gurus, will narrow a field week to week until one lucky winner will be chosen. Okay, same language, different year, nothing too interesting. One more page added. one more line added that gives the producers more, I guess, force to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do. I don't see the language of a per diem in 2015 anymore. I want to make sure I don't miss it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see it after that. Let's see, what else did we miss? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I don't see it, guys. Not at all. They did put in there something about to the effect of physical and psychological requirements. So they're making sure that everybody's psychologically well and safe to be in there. There was a line on number 10 that if you had a representation, that you might have to fire your rep in order for you to be in the show. So that's the other thing too to kind of keep in mind. And that was in the 22nd cycle. Um, I mean, but at the end of the day, this still kind of gives me what is it? Contest. It gives me contest language. It doesn't give me like you're employed. Okay. We reserve the right to make changes to participants in production schedule. If you are scheduled to be a participant, we will give you a week notice prior to your day in move. So you'll be given about a week notice before you have to move into this house with X amount of people and females. Okay. So pretty straightforward. I wanted to share this with you guys as far as like this American Next Top Model information. I want you guys, if you guys have seen it or not, go check out Oliver Twixt's interview with Sarah from Cycle 9 and just listen to how she answered the questions. Um, I'm sure she's probably like moved on from this and she's just, you know, a lot of people are sharing different experiences, whether they were good or bad. Okay. One thing that we cannot take from, I mean, this America's Next Top Model was a very iconic show. Very much that show that, changed a lot of people, but also like changed how you watch TV. Yeah, and I definitely would have to agree that there's a psychological portion of contracts is key because women were put under high stress situations to create arguments of bad behavior to increase views. Yeah, and that was Stacey. Wouldn't you say that that is basically the medicine of reality TV? Like that's the gist of our TV now. Uh, the majority of the people on YouTube, they do commentary on housewives, on reality TV. You don't see a whole lot of commentary on like non-reality stuff, right? So at the end of the day, are they real situations? Probably not. I mean, we're creating them to make reality TV, but are they real situations? Probably not. I don't know. She didn't oh. Yeah, because I think Aisha, I believe she was what was her height? Because I think she was also a little shorty too. I mean, she was a small frame woman. And I find that to be very interesting. She was taken, a lot of people took a lot of from Eva. I love Eva. I really do. She was my favorite, but I was like cheering her on when she did that shoot with the spider because I swear to God, she looked so scared and she killed it. I don't know if I'd have enough, guts like she did back then. Anyways, guys, let's do some rabbit twerking. Thank you so much to Bring the Mess for giving us some financial support. I was thinking as I was watching the rabbit twerks, and I might need to consider making some of my stuff a little bit more PG. A little bit more PG. Oh my God, you guys. I'm not going to say nothing right now. I'll just be quiet because then if I say, I might say too much. And I can't. In my Danny voice, I can't, I can't. Sometimes you just can't. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much to the 35 plus people that joined us today. This was really just to kind of give you guys an overview. I want to know what you guys think about Sarah's tweet. Warranted, not warranted, necessary, not necessary. Does it give us insight into like, should she have been paid? I don't know. Like, I'm still struggling with that because I can see the argument on both sides. And when I can see the argument of both sides, I really don't have an opinion. I really don't have an opinion. You guys are laughing it up. Aisha and Barbie are laughing it up, and I think they know why. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon, morning, noon, and night. I am out because I have to be. I'll talk to you guys later. Rabbits out.